Throughout history, the evolution of warfare and weaponry has relentlessly pushed the boundaries of destruction, leading to ever more severe and brutal injuries on the battlefield. From ancient times to the modern era, each leap in arms technology has carried with it more devastating wounds. As weapons became more advanced and injuries more catastrophic, medical science was forced to evolve rapidly, struggling to keep pace and find ways to heal the seemingly unhealable. This story reveals how war's deadly innovations pushed medicine forward, a battle not just between armies, but between destruction and healing itself. The ancient era in the ancient world, warfare was brutal, intimate, and face-to-face. Swords, spears, axes, and arrows cut down men with horrifying ease. A sword could cleave through flesh and bone, while arrows embedded deep in the body made removal agonizing and perilous. Lacking modern knowledge, soldiers' only hope lay in crude treatments, part practical, part mystical. Wine and vinegar were poured over wounds, believed to disinfect, though they rarely prevented infection. Herbs were pressed into cuts, thought to heal but largely ineffective, and when all else failed, there was cauterization, pressing heated metal onto the wound, searing it shut without pain relief, a living nightmare. Among the most unusual practices came from the Vikings. They would feed a wounded man garlic broth. If the smell of garlic seeped from his wound, they believed the intestines were punctured, a grim diagnosis, almost always fatal. Survival depended on luck. Small wounds could heal slowly and painfully, but larger ones brought death by blood loss or infection. Then came the crossbow, a weapon that pierced chainmail and even plate armor. Its bolts carried dirt and splinters deep into flesh, making treatment nearly impossible. Surgeons began their first crude attempts at extracting bolts, planting the seeds of battlefield surgery, the medieval era. As warfare advanced, longbows and heavier crossbows made wounds deeper, more destructive, and harder to treat. Arrow surgery became a necessity. Specialized tools were designed to pull arrowheads from flesh, though treatment remained primitive. Boiling oil was poured into wounds to cleanse them, often killing the patient with shock or infection. Amputations were carried out without painkillers, with death hovering close. The medieval healers stood powerless against devastation, yet from these dark ages, the slow march toward modern medicine had begun. The Renaissance and early modern period gunpowder changed everything. Muskets and cannons shattered bodies in ways swords never could. Gunshot wounds crushed bone, shredded tissue, and left projectiles buried deep. Unlike clean sword cuts, these wounds festered with infection. Surgeons attempted to dig bullets out with crude tools, often making injuries worse. Cauterization with boiling oil remained common, until the French surgeon Ambroise Paré dared to defy tradition. He abandoned oil for gentler treatments, shifting medicine toward humanity, though true germ theory remained centuries away. This era also birthed field hospitals and the first ideas of triage, treating soldiers based on injury severity. Anatomy expanded as surgeons learned from dissections, slowly breaking through religious taboos. Meanwhile, fortifications and tactics adapted to withstand gunpowder, showing how medicine and military architecture evolved side by side. The 19th century and the American Civil War. By the mid-19th century, rifled muskets and the deadly Minié ball brought unimaginable injuries. The soft lead bullets expanded on impact, shattering bones and tearing flesh into ruin. Entry wounds were small, but exit wounds gaped horrifically. Amputation became the only answer. 3 out of 4 Civil War surgeries ended with saws cutting through limbs. With little anesthesia, patients died from shock or blood loss. Chloroform and ether helped, but supplies were limited. Infection, gangrene, tetanus, sepsis, spread mercilessly through filthy hospitals. And yet, progress was born from horror. Regulations eventually banned explosive bullets, leading to the safer full metal jacket design. Field hospitals improved logistics, and nursing became professionalized, with women like Clara Barton transforming battlefield care. The World War I unleashed industrial slaughter. High-velocity bullets, shell fragments, and poison gas carved new nightmares into human flesh. Soldiers emerged blind, burned, or torn apart. Yet medicine advanced with antiseptics, mobile X-rays, and blood transfusions. Trench foot, trench fever, and shell shock forced doctors to face not just physical wounds but psychological ones. The chain of evacuation, moving soldiers from front lines to hospitals, laid the foundation for modern medevac systems. World War II expanded these lessons globally. Antibiotics like penicillin saved countless lives. Plastic surgery repaired shattered faces. Rehabilitation medicine helped soldiers reclaim bodies broken by war. Psychiatry advanced further, tackling combat stress and psychological trauma. The Vietnam War. The next turning point came with helicopters. The medevac system, medical evacuation, transformed survival. Helicopters could pluck the wounded from jungles within the golden hour, the critical window where intervention could save a life. But medevac also brought grim choices. Triage meant deciding who could be saved and who could not. Soldiers were classified, priority, routine, or expectant. Doctors were forced to play God, making impossible decisions under fire. Modern warfare today, drones, high-explosive devices, and advanced firearms cause complex wounds. But medevac aircraft now carry full medical facilities, saving lives even mid-flight. Prosthetics and rehabilitation help soldiers return home with dignity, though many bear wounds of body and soul that never fully heal. The paradox of progress is clear. As weapons become more destructive, medicine becomes more advanced to counter them. War and healing march forward together, locked in a tragic dance. It is astonishing to realize how far we've come. Painkillers and anesthesia spare us from the torments our ancestors endured. But one must ask, why must destruction always lead progress? Will humanity ever reach a stage where we prioritize peace over devising new ways to harm each other?